One day I heard of a friend of mine who went to give interview in one of the reputed companies of our city. He was so excited because it was his first interview, and he was very confident and happy, and he was expecting that he would be just selected there in that interview, and he would have a lot of money, like he would get good salary, and his situation would be okay. So early in the morning he got up and he got ready. So that day, since it was his interview, so he did not take breakfast also, because he was so excited. Whenever we just get so excited, we don't get hungry. So it was the same situation with him, and at 9 o'clock he just departed from his house and he went to that particular place where he had to give interview. Okay, so as soon as he reached there, he was just mesmerized by seeing that company and the people and the dress code and the way of work and the discipline they had and the infrastructure and so on and so forth. He was so surprised and he was so happy to see all of those things. So finally he went into the interview hall where many people were waiting with him. So when his turn came, he was very excited, but as soon as he entered into the room, he got a bit nervous, which is a very common problem with people who just go for interview. So this is the same thing that happened with him as well. So as soon as he entered into the room, he was a bit nervous by looking at the people who were sitting before him to just take his interview to ask some questions. So this boy or this friend of mine, he just stood up there for a moment because he was not told to sit. After some time, just he was asked to sit there and he got seated. And these interviewers, they asked him a question. They said, okay, so why don't you just tell about yourself? You look so smart, by the way, so please tell about yourself or introduce yourself. So this boy, he started introducing himself, saying that I'm so and so, and I was born and brought up in such and such place, and this is my education, and things like that. And later he just took up his family details as well, and some technical things or technical qualifications he had. So he mentioned all of those things, and he told one thing very specifically, that I have a very good grip in designing, and especially in Photoshop and CorelDRAW, means these designing works he was very well versed. So he just mentioned these things. First of all, they just gave him a compliment, saying, wow, your way of introducing was awesome, and even though it was your first interview, yet you did very well. But we just want to ask you a question. Do you know about our company? Do you know about our company and what you are here for? As soon as he heard these questions, he was speechless, because he had a very good quality of designing. He was very good at CorelDRAW and Photoshop and some other designing areas, but he had no idea what was that company where he just got in. He had no idea about that company. Also, he had no idea about the job that he went there to give interview of. He had no idea about it. So again, these interviewers, they asked him the same questions. Do you know about the company that you are in right now? Do you know the job that you are to do here? Then he said, I'm very sorry, sir. I have no idea. I don't know. Then they asked him, then why have you come here? What we see that you are very good at designing and you are very good at things like Photoshop and CorelDRAW and these designing platforms. But you know, this company is all about BPO, or it is a call center where we don't require designers, we require people who are good at communication. So, when he heard these words, he was shocked and he was feeling so bad about himself because he did not know about the company before he just got into that interview platform. He should have studied first about the company that he was getting into or the job that he was about to get interviewed of. But unfortunately, he didn't do all these things, and that is why he was embarrassed. Yes, he was good at interview. It was not just the communication that he was good at, but his specification was actually in designing. And he went to the wrong place to give interview. It is like, you need a packet of milk, but you are going to textile shop or a clothes shop to get the milk. How do you get that? It is not at all possible. It is just a foolishness. So with this example or this incident, I would like to ask you, my dear friends who are thinking to go for interviews, tell me, when you are preparing yourself for interview, do you know the company that you are going to? Do you know the work that the company is offering you? Do you have any idea about it? Or you are simply going because somebody has told you that there is an interview going on, so if you want to go and just give interview, so you will be selected. Is that the thing that you have? If it is so, then let me tell you, it will happen same with you as it happened with my friend. You know what happened after that? My friend was so embarrassed and he just came back. And he was very sad the whole day, and he did not eat food and he did not take dinner that day. Yes, in the morning also he did not take breakfast because of the excitement. But after that interview, he did not take food the whole day because again, he lost all his excitement. So that is why he couldn't eat food. So it is not the matter of food here, but what I want to share with you is that you see, later when somebody or when his parents asked him about the interview, he said that no, he was not selected and he was very sad about his interview. Now tell me, whose fault was that? Was that the fault of the interviewers? Or was that the fault of this friend of mine who actually did not know the company and he did not study about the job that he was about to get into there? Tell me, whose fault was that? Absolutely, it is the fault, or it was the fault of my friend. And later when he just shared these all things with me, I just explained to him that, boy, see, you have a very good skill of designing. You are a very good designer and I have seen your skills. You can create awesome designs. So why are you just hitting here and there? Why are you giving interviews in companies like BPO or something like where the communication matters? Don't you have any idea that the skill that you have, according to that you need to select a company? If you have designing skills, then you must seek for companies that offer the job of designing. That is the wise thing that you need to know. You don't need to get discouraged just because you were not selected. You were not selected not because that you lacked something, but you were not selected just because you neglected the part of knowing the company and studying the job. Yes. So you must understand that it is not the lack of quality that you have. You went to the wrong place, and now that is why you were not selected. If you had gone to a designing company where the company would be offering some designing work, absolutely you would have been selected. Do you know that? So then this friend of mine was so glad, and again he was encouraged with the words that I shared with him. Then he prepared himself for designing work because he was good at designing work. So through this, I just want to tell you, my dear friends who are listening to me, that if you are preparing for interview, just remember these two things, which are the primary and the most basic things about interview. That first of all, you know what you have, know who you are. If you are a designer, don't simply go to a company that is offering you some salesman work, or they are just providing some BPO work or some calling work. What will you do there? That is not the right place for you. Why? Because your quality is designing. So what you should look for? You should look for a company that is offering you designing job. It is a very simple and common sense, you know that? So don't ever do this mistake again, because not only my friend, but there are many, students or many people who just qualify their graduation, or maybe soon after their schooling, they just get into the work, and without knowing this, and they simply want to work somewhere, wherever they get in a job. And what happens? They just feel sad about the interview because they are not selected. Absolutely, they will be rejected because they are in the wrong place. So what I would like to encourage you, that you please study yourself, the first thing, and find out who you are and what quality you have. Then second, go for the company that is offering the job similar or which is matching to your quality. Okay, so this is actually the way of getting a job. Because what I have seen is that many students, they end up in discouragement just because of their own negligence and the lack of knowledge about interview. They just simply get into this kind of embarrassment and a failure. Yes, this is a failure of not understanding the basic thing of interview. So finally, let me encourage you saying this, that please look onto yourself, look at the quality that you have, look at the skills that you have. And if you have the skills of communication, then you should go for the place where you can communicate, where you can talk. And don't waste your time in simply going to some computer platform where you will be just wasting your time. You won't succeed because that is not your quality. Okay, so I hope that you understood. If you have any doubt about it, just please write to me on the comment box, and I'm sure that as much as possible, in whatever way possible, I would like to help you, and I would like to see you succeed, especially in your work. Okay, so may God help you and bless you. Thank you.